As I mentioned last time, I finished the factions and the aeons, and now I'm going to have a look at the terms inside the databank. As you can see, there's a lot of terms. There's things like phenomenons, characters, technology inside the game, theories, calendars, so even locations. So there's like descriptions on all of these with related entries like normal. I'm going to start reading from the top, which is concepts. A young shoot sprouted from the cracks of primordial chaos. Nurtured by time for billions of years, it grew into a huge unrivaled tree. The branches of the giant tree bore colorful young leaves, each containing a fragment of the universe's will. A will that eternally speaks in cryptic vagaries, but also bestows stunning scenery, treasures, epics, and life upon every world. Herta Space Station, one of the locations. Not content with the laws of the common world, Herta of the Genius Society set her sights on the unexplained existences of the cosmos, expecting those distant mysteries to satisfy her curiosity. To this end, Herta led the establishment of a museum-like starship and launched it into orbit, starting the research to seal all strange existences among the stars. That was how the famous Herta Space Station was born. Nowadays, the space station possesses innumerable curios and is a veritable space museum. A great number of researchers also live on the station. They continuously collect relics and curios all over the cosmos, record their appearances and functions, establish systematic methods to observe and study them, and so forth. Ultimately, finding even more confounding enigmas from their studies. That in fact was Herta's initial goal. This large collection often attracts jealous eyes. Various forces watch from the shadows. Due to Herta's power, the space station had rarely experienced a real crisis, and the collection and investigation work continues to operate in an orderly manner. Jarilo 6, another location. It's the second planet. So you have like the Herta space station is the first location that you visit in the game. Jarilo 6 is the ice planet that you visit as the second location. Historians often start the planetary history of Jarilo 6 from the War of the Gods thousands of years ago. The war between the 11 Perm states and the Veles Union army scorched the land for years until an early spring completely changed the fortunes of war, and the Veles had a total victory. They praised the spring war god Jarilo for helping them eliminate their arch-enemy, and praised the land with poems of the same name. The current name of the planet in the cosmos' records, Jarilo 6, may be a mistranslation that contains a poetry stanza number. When the mythological war was over, Jarilo 6 welcomed a long period of peace and developed from a hunter-gatherer society to one conducting space explorations. Unfortunately, Jarilo 6 was a planet with few resources. Intensive development brought top-tier technological advances to Jarilo 6, but also brought an end to their history. Exhausted resources, the arrival of a Starlaron, and the appearance of the Eternal Freeze. These various disasters completely annihilated Jarilo 6's glorious but short-lived civilization. The survivors of the Eternal Freeze managed to stay alive in a corner of the planet. They forgot the name of Jarilo and created Billabog, a city made to shelter against the Eternal Freeze, and continued their civilization. Due to its isolated and dangerous natural environment, Jarilo 6 lost contact with other worlds after the appearance of the Cancer of all worlds. The Janzo Lofu, I think this is one of the, it says it here. It's one of the other locations that you visit after. The Janzo is the third group of locations that you go to. Janzo Lofu is one of the 6 flagships of the Janzo Alliance. It sails in the endless ocean of stars like a one-way arrow, shooting toward the destined enemy of the Lord of the Hunt. After the war with the denizens of abundance, the Lofu traveled between densely populated interstellar segmenta, trading and conducting cultural exchange between different worlds. They signed agreements with the Interastral Peace Corporation and helped many worlds ravaged by the denizens of abundance to rebuild their ecosystem. People arrived at the Lofu to seek medical treatment, study, and trade, with throngs of visitors filling the docks. Though warfare has receded, the Lofu has not relaxed its watch against the denizens of abundance. The starskiffs of the Cloud Knights would head to planets that went out of contact to seek information, while the Janzo Ten Lord Commission remains on guard for any elixir seeker pursuing everlasting life. The desire for immortality is the beginning of all tragedies. The Zhanzhou will not allow any younger civilizations to walk its old path. I apologize on forehand, I am not the best at reading Chinese names, so I'm trying my best. The Zhanzhou Yaojing. The Zhanzhou Yaojing is one of the 6 flagships of the Zhanzhou Alliance. It sails in the endless ocean of stars like a colossal sword, wiping out the abominations ravaging the various segmenta. Out of the 6 flagships, the Zhanzhou Yaojing is known for its military prowess and has long been standing at the forefront of the most intense combat missions. Under the ferocious assault of the elite verdant knights of the Yaojing, armed forces mainly comprised by Foxians, the army of abominations made of Borisin and the like has finally been routed, with their numbers now on the decline. Despite earning a high reputation and respect with the Alliance due to their frequent reports of military victories, the Zhanzhou Yaojing is also the center of a heated debate. The Yaojing has been closely cooperating with the Interastral Peace Corporation for a long time in exchange for technology and supplies required for combat. They have annihilated countless abominations in many worlds, rendering many of them spoils of war in the credit system. This has led to many raising suspicions on whether the Yaojing is indeed the vanguard of the hunt, or whether it has become a warship of the preservation gone unnoticed. Zhanzhou Zuming. The Zhanzhou Zuming is one of the 6 flagships of the Zhanzhou Alliance. It sails on the endless ocean of stars like a tempered hammer, creating many marvels of weaponry for the Cloud Knights to use in combat. The Zhanzhou Zuming has been known for its exquisite craftsmanship and alchemy techniques since it first set sail during the primeval Imperium era. In the course of its voyage over the past 8,000 years, modifications have been constantly carried out on the Zhanzhou Zuming. Since that, it no longer resembles how it originally looked. Regardless, the fire of innovation and knowledge burning in the hearts of the craftsmen on board has never been extinguished. After the Flaming Catastrophe War, the Flint Emperor, predecessor of Al-Heliobi, was imprisoned within the Zuming. While in captivity, it fell into a deep slumber. Craftsmen of the Zuming then constructed the ring-shaped flame-wheel forge around this creature of celestial levels of pure energy, drawing upon this source of infinite energy for their use. By now, the Zhanzhou Zuming has become the holy land of artisanship, renowned throughout the stars. Its production engineering technology rivaled that of planets Krulum and Pierpoint, has attracted countless people seeking to learn, and who have all returned home with an abundance of knowledge. Penacony. That's the 4th location you visit in the game if you follow the logical progress of the story. If you're like me and you just do log on from time to time, you do the events. Whenever you see the events, sometimes you will get available already if you change the time zone kind of deal. I, for example, had not done the Zhanzhou Zuming quests, but I had already been to Penacony, because I had done the event with Rappa, where you do the music stuff and it teleports you around everywhere. So I had gone to areas I wouldn't otherwise not been able to teleport to, and afterwards I had to completely go through all those areas again to try and find all the chests and stuff and unlock all the teleportation points. So if you're smart, do not do like me and actually follow the storyline in its order as it's been released. But yeah. Penacony location. The planet of festivities on the Asdana star system, also known as Land of the Dreams, a luxurious hotel positioned above the fathomless sky. Penacony is also a popular vacation spot where interstellar celebrities party the days away and the affluent from diverse worlds revel in lavish ventures. People flock here in search of dreams they've longed for or have already buried, and through dream pools in the hotel are transported to a realm of dreams where everything can come true. Rarely do guests pay attention to Penacony's heavy past. A millennium ago, it was a frontier prison established by the IPC. Exiled prisoners must survive an arduous journey across vast distances to reach this location, and are then forced to take up a dangerous duty, to mend the physical leak through which Memoria seeps into the galaxy. As they frequently labor while being exposed to Memoria, the prisoners gradually discover themselves entering a captivating shared dream world, where they collectively obtain a single shared desire: freedom. After the eruption of the Cancer of All Worlds, the ownership of the frontier prison changed hands. Historical records related to the struggle are scarce and often questionable. However, some accounts clearly state that with the assistance of various factions, including the Mourning Actors, the Masked Fools, and the Nameless, and the Omen Vanguards, the prisoners emerged as the new rulers of this nascent realm. Sounds of discord could then periodically be heard during the subsequent times when it became a land of exiles. It was only when the family descended and took control of the dreamscape that Penacony experienced unparalleled and explosive prosperity, transforming into a renowned cosmic resort. During the Charmony Festival in 2158 AE, the legendary tycoon, known as the Watchmaker, sent a galaxy-wide invitation, summoning various factions to Penacony to compete for his invaluable legacy. Eventually, the Astral Express and its crew emerged victorious in this unprecedented festival, averting a grim future where the cosmos would have become a hollow dream of a dead aeon. Under the guidance of Trailblaze, the planet of festivities, once lost in revelry, returned to wakefulness. Its people no longer surrendered themselves to the dreamscape, but instead embraced the power to confront reality. Louis Fleming, the first character. If we were to compose a list of the most famous mortals in the entire cosmos, then Louis Fleming, the man famous for 700 and so Amber Eras, must have his name there. He is the founder of the Interastral Peace Corporation, a bona fide lifetime member of the board of directors, and the only person who had attended all 14,600 board meetings. He's also the most powerful person in the universe after the Aeons. As the IPC's biggest stakeholder, Louis Fleming, or Louis, if you say it French, his wealth is now literally beyond count. Many even joke that this mysterious tycoon is the Aeon of Wealth. Some are convinced that Louis Fleming is only a legend. No mortal body can possibly endure such an eternity. Some surmise that Louis is a name inherited by generations of the same family. Some believed Director Fleming is a myth deliberately maintained by the IPC. Some believed the man used his wealth to obtain immortality. Some claimed Louis had turned himself into data and discarded his mortal shell. Some even said Director Fleming had already ascended and became a god. The official line from the IPC is that Louis Fleming had definitely existed and still exists. Apart from that, all other information about the man remains top-class secrets. Herta. Herta is the woman that helps you with the simulated universe. She walks around in puppets, and if I heard correctly, we should be able to see how she actually looks like, since they were going to release her as a character that you could get in one of the next warps. Herta. Scholars can usually leave their names in history with one great achievement. Herta, however, had countless achievements, and that is why she received the glance of Nous and became a member of the Genius Society. All members of the Genius Society are oddballs, and Herta is no exception. Her scholarship is entirely driven by interest. If she lost interest halfway through a project, she would instantly discard all her work. Therefore, multiple topics that could have made critical advancements to civilization were stopped because they were not interesting. Even though the Intelligentsia Guild had obtained her manuscripts after great difficulty, they often could do nothing to further progress the studies. However, Herta nowadays seems to have expanded her interests a little. She started to contract, the Interastral Peace Corporation, or IPC. Has helped at the Janzo chase of abominations, and even has had some friction with the Garden of Recollection. She is already very sociable compared to the other odd hermits of the Genius Society. Who knows what else she might make an interest in? Maybe she doesn't even know herself. Synesthesia Beacon, the first technology. From the moment civilizations started exploring the cosmos, they have been set into a dilemma between ceaseless conflict and desirous of communication. Though conflict is also a form of communication. Instead of resorting to the violent carnage and loss of warfare, people crave more to surpass language barriers and reach a mutually beneficial understanding. Therefore, humanity started an endless pursuit toward the accurate translation of languages. However, the problem of linguistic information losing its accuracy and becoming muddled between different writing systems seemed inconquerable. According to records, the IPC once created a translation dictionary that contained languages from nearly 6,000 civilizations, but this could not be used in practice due to the huge size of the searchable database. What was even more troubling is that languages are living entities. As civilizations advanced, new phrases and slang grew rapidly, making translation exponentially harder. The Riddlers were also interfering with languages, making communication between planetary systems even more challenging. After many years, the deceptively simple issue of translation was finally solved by Elias Salas, the 56th member of the Genius Society. Elias Salas proposed the following hypothesis to make communication between geniuses easier. The thought process of intelligent creatures are mostly represented via inner language, just like how people would subconsciously read to themselves when looking at words and form thoughts that way. If we can skip that step of information transmission and instead link up our consciousness, convert the codes of our inner language, then let the receiver's language processing system analyze and restore that information, then we will have no barriers in communication. This quote is from A Manuscript on Thoughts Regarding the Art of Communication, prologue by Elias Salas. That was how Elias Salas created the first pair of synesthesia beacon prototypes. Regrettably, language was not the only communication barrier between geniuses. There was also arrogance. The member of the society ignored his invention, and this brilliant piece of engineering marvel was forgotten for centuries. However, the invisible restrictions of language continued to frustrate the Interastral Peace Corporation. They issued an irrefutable ultimatum to the Intelligentsia Guild, which they themselves funded. The scholars modified and labored amongst ancient manuscripts and finally recreated the synesthesia beacons. The age of interstellar communication finally began. Nowadays, the synesthesia beacon is the fundamental technology of all intelligent lifeforms in the cosmos. With just one injection that embeds the beacon in your central nervous system, you would be able to understand an alien language from the furthest star as if it was your own native tongue. Unfortunately, the cosmos did not become piecemeal with a universal language. On the contrary, there were even more conflicts. When people could understand each other's language but had very diverse standards in life, countless fights started to erupt between groups with different outlooks. Parties sought to surpass each other and races eagerly planned to hunt each other down. Neither Elias Salas nor the Intelligentsia Guild had predicted this outcome. Amber Era, the first calendar entry. The calendar commonly used in the cosmos, created and promoted by the Interastral Peace Corporation. The Amber Era started at the estimated birth of Klipov as an aeon of preservation and initiates a new era every time Klipov swings their hammer during construction. As Klipov swings their hammer at unpredictable intervals, the duration of every Amber Era varies significantly. The length of one has been anywhere between 76 to 240 trailblaze years when converted. The Astral Express restarted its journey on 2157 Amber Era, or AE. That's where the AE came from in one of the previous entries. Trailblaze Calendar. The calendar used by the Astral Express. It is said to have come from the home planet of Akivili, the Aeon of Trailblaze, the isolated world of Pagana. The Trailblaze calendar system has each year split into 12 months, and each month is of different length. Apparently, this calendar is still used in many of the planets that Akivili had once passed in their travels. The first theory. The Imaginary Tree. The imaginary tree is a theory of the universe widely accepted by the modern scientific community. This theory describes the various worlds existing in different space-times as having a tree-like structure. Every branch is a specific path along which worlds might exist, with every leaf being the marks these worlds have made along the perimeter of time. The crown of the tree remains in a dynamic state as it absorbs the masterless imaginary energy from the space-time vasculature of the trunk. A lot of difficult words. New shoots grow, withered leaves fall, and endless births and deaths occur among the infinite universe. Describing the universe's structure as a tree may be an attitude that views the imaginary tree as a life form. Before the theory of imaginary tree was put forward, the universe had been addressed as a void and indiscernible object, because of its undetectable nature. So I was going to say aura. After the theory was developed, people would visualize its principle using imagination. The untamed imaginary energy surges endlessly through space-time vasculature and forms at its tips star clusters that humans can understand. In other words, countless worlds. The worlds are separated from each other just as leaves are separated by air, between which are unknown imaginary domains that are nigh impossible to traverse. The Intelligentsia Guild had once thought that Harold Punch, the second member of the Genius Society, was the first to propose the imaginary tree origin theory. After multiple assessments on the influence of the history fictionologists, the scientific community now commonly accepts Xandar I Kuwabara as the person to have proposed it. Aiden. I can see that we're already at like 20 minutes. I'm going to finish Aiden and then I'm going to read all the rest in the next video if that's okay for you guys. Aiden is the next character. If Xander had never existed, then there might not have been a genius society in the world, and mortals would have less ivory tower on a mountain. However, if Aiden had never existed, then mortals would not have known where the mountain is. Aiden set the universal laws for the entire cosmos, which transformed it from a distant concept to a tangible, measurable, and comprehensible objective existence. The 9-worded formulae he created replaced traditional algebra and geometry, and still shapes natural laws to this day. He was also generous as the first member of the Genius Society to publicly share his findings. He selflessly shared his talents with others seeking wisdom, propelling cosmic civilization ever forward. When various scientific fields were established, these founders always said they were standing on Aiden's shoulders. Countless mathematicians and engineers in endless Ember eras had bravely scaled this peak of wisdom, but none had ever reached the great man's earlobes. People named the most fundamental unit in mechanical physics as Aiden. It wasn't just due to his achievements in the fundamental sciences, but also a reminder to posterity that Aiden, 22nd member of the Genius Society, was the force that moved scientific advancement forward in the cosmos. He had left innumerable legacies, and the stars will always respect and remember him. I'm going to leave it here. I will read from Interstellar Travel, the first phenomenon, if I remember correctly, the first phenomenon, all the way forwards to Scholar's Strive. Doesn't matter if it takes more than 20 minutes, but my voice is starting to crack a little bit, as you probably can hear. Thank you for being here. Leave a like and a comment if you want to. It does help out. It creates traction to my videos because of the new system that YouTube has. If you enjoy hearing me read things, be sure to leave a comment with things that you know that I could read for you guys, make videos on. I am planning to go into, for example, Skyrim. I was also going to look at if there were anything in Wuthering Waves, maybe, Genshin Impact, maybe, Zenless, maybe. I haven't played Zenless yet, and I haven't finished the story in Genshin, so I think I might need to focus on those things first. But if you guys are interested in any of those, please let me know so I actually know where to also start. Thank you for being here, thank you for supporting me, and have a nice evening.